Hi, Leah from my sewing room, and this is Anne. I have another industrial that looks almost the same as yesterday's industrial, but it's not. It's a big beastie machine. This is the big boy here in the store. So the machine I've got in front of me today is called the Titan 650BL, and this machine is considered an upholstery or bag making machine. So one of the really big differences between yesterday's machine and today's machine is how the presser foot moves on the machine. So this is a walking foot machine, compound walking foot. It can handle all sorts of crazy things. So like I said, this machine is designed for sewing upholstery, bag making. It's used quite frequently. So this is, again, one of the right tool for the right job. If you're trying to make lots of bags, purses, wallets, and your domestic machine is struggling and you have to just turn the hand wheel stitch by stitch, it could be you need a bigger, heftier machine that's designed to actually do what you're trying to do. So a compound walking foot machine is very, very different from a regular domestic machine or other industrials that are set up similar to a domestic. The presser foot on this machine is actually two separate feet. So there's an inner foot and an outer foot. And the inner foot and the needle bar actually move together to make the stitch. So as the machine is turning, the needle and the foot go through an elliptical pattern and move with the fabric. So needle and presser foot move together with the fabric as it turns. This helps to manage the bulk. It's pulling bulk through the machine. So the wax canvas and foam that I struggled with yesterday on the other industrial that was designed for garment making. Just feeds so smoothly. So again, there's a presser foot lift to lift the presser foot. It's a knee lift under the machine. And you can get lots of height there to get your nice thick things through. And there's lots of options for feet. So there's Teflon feet for this as well, and 1/4-inch feet, and piping feet. So depending what you're trying to make, whether you're redoing upholstery in a vehicle or recovering your couch, sewing leather patches onto something, this will be a pretty happy machine to work with. The needles on this machine are what I like to call great big Lego men harpoons, which is not at all their technical classification. The industrial needle type for this machine is called a DP17. They have a round top, and I wish I should get a Lego man for work. This would make showing off these needles way more fun. So they're big harpoons. They've got great big eyes on them to accommodate bigger and fatter threads. So this particular needle is a size 21, which is about 3 sizes bigger than what you could run in a domestic machine. Your biggest needle in a domestic is probably an 18. And on here, these ones go from 18 up to 24. So the threads you can use with the machine are much, much thicker. The machine only goes forwards and backwards, and you can change the stitch length. That's pretty much all it does. But it feeds bulk through. And then it's nice big bobbins to accommodate your nice big fat thread. So again, on this one, we're taking the thread through the thread guide on the top of the machine and looping it through. And then looping through again before the first little tensioner. Out through that little hole, down and under. An interesting thing about industrial machines, this big bar that covers the take-up lever is called a nose bar. So what happens when people sew in factories 8 hours a day or 12 hours a day is as you get more and more focused, you lean into your machine. So take-up lever could be going up and down at 1,500 or 3,000 stitches a minute. And it doesn't feel good when it hits you in the face. So this is to keep your nose safe. So through the needle threads from left to right, similar to yesterday's machine. Same thing as the other industrial, there is an oil pan underneath this machine. And a pump and a low and a high level, not in the same place as the other machine. And again, once you're comfortable with the machine, you'll probably be just fine to, what did I do? Got my thread caught. You'll be just fine to thread your machine from up underneath the table. But until that time, oh dear, I'm gonna need a new bobbin. So bobbin winder on this one is on the outside, it's belt driven. So let me go back through and unthread my whole machine. So I only have one spool of thread back here for this. So going down through this hole here. Then through the tensioner. And then I don't wind bobbins on this one very often, so I'm either going to get this right the first time or I'm going to get it wrong the first time, so I apologize if I get it wrong the first time. We're going to wrap. And then this pushes and is driven by the belt. So at this point you'll want to have thread out of the needle unless you're skilled enough to drive while you wind a bobbin. Oop, other way. Because it doesn't disengage the needle as you wind the bobbin. Well, I have this thing set slow. It's only going 500 stitches a minute.
So slow.
So slow. It takes a long time to wind a bobbin this way. When you're going to put your thread in your bobbin case, when you set the bobbin down in and go up and under the tension spring, the bobbin should be turning clockwise. And it'll get clipped in underneath there. It only fits in one way. And then let's rethread the top again now that I've unthreaded it. This machine has the servo motor mounted under the table. There's also a direct drive version, so the motor built into the machine, so you don't need to worry about the belt. And then the bobbin winder's on top of the machine. And that's the 750. When you pull up the bobbin thread, and we can go for it again. Maybe we could sew thicker than this. This was 8 layers of denim yesterday. Let's fold that over once more and make it 12. No struggle whatsoever. So the maximum height that you can sew through on here, there's a 13 millimeter lift on this foot. So if you can get it under there, you can probably sew on it. If what you need to sew is thicker than that, that's a whole different conversation and a much fancier machine that I don't have here at the moment, but I could potentially get my hands on from Titan. It has way bigger needles. So the 650 is lovely. Really, really great if you're trying to sew bulk all the time. Again, the right tool for the right job. You don't buy a little screwdriver that doesn't fit in your screw when you're buying screwdriver bits. It doesn't do a whole lot. It goes forwards and backwards through thick stuff. There's some fun feet. But it's a lovely, lovely machine to sew on, and I fixed the odd little broken bag strap, and I have a pair of sandals that I might sew back together with this one. We'll see what happens. So, I think that's all I have for you guys today. If you have machine questions, you can email sewingmachines@mysewingroom.ca or give us a shout at over the phone, and we can find you the right machine for your needs and your wants. That's what I know today. Thanks for joining me, guys. Be safe, be kind, be calm, and we'll see you tomorrow.